All right, Iran, let's get into it first. Why it's important water care. So I made a video about this the other day. Definitely go check it out below. Talking about just like the details of everything that's going on in the Middle East and Iran right now. Got into the high level stuff a little bit, but as the days have gone on and news has developed above, you can see here, I've been thinking about this a little bit more and to help just kind of visualize everything, laid it on paper. So let's get into it here. So to help kind of explain everything we've been thinking about the past few days over the situation, put the above together. And yes, to answer your question, obviously I'm an artist. So in the column one, you can see the first agreement back in 2015. Obviously in the interim, we're now 11 years down the road. We had Operation Midnight Hammer, B-2 bomber there. And now we're in the midst, effectively, of negotiating in Oman, currently JCPOA 2 in 2026. Now, the first agreement, obviously, you can see a lot more people involved, called multilateralism. Not saying it's good, but I'm just saying that is the fact. Now, this time around, much is par for the course for this current administration, it is a bilateral agreement. So now, as we're going through these latest rounds of talks in Oman, what are both sides looking to get out of the diplomatic efforts? Now, for the U.S. part, we want the complete abandonment of the Iranian nuclear program, which is different from 2015, where they had some. It was for civilian infrastructure and civilian energy, civilian and nuclear energy program. We want Iran to hand over any of its current nuclear fissile material. New is we want Iran to abandon or severely downgrade its capability of its ballistic missile program. And then, of course, we want Iran to stop funding regional terrorist proxies, Hezbollah, Hamas, etc. And this is kind of funny because, of course, it's always a plot. It's never actually real. So says the Iranian regime. But, of course, it's pretty much just common knowledge that, yes, Iran funds these proxies. Iran, pretty straightforward. The lifting of sanctions, both primary and secondary, so people that do or want to do business with Iran. So if we do settle back into this JCPOA2, what are we likely to see? So Iran's likely to continue using the money that they get from sanctions relief to continue funding regional terrorist proxies, which in the subsequent interim years have honestly been pretty decimated. Leadership gone, et cetera, et cetera. We're also likely to see the continued secret building of their nuclear program, which they're doing under the first JCPOA agreement. Likely to see crackdowns strengthen against the opposition, and we're likely to see, obviously, oil flows continue to China. Almost all oil flows from Iran go to China. Let me be clear, for however well-intentioned the first JCPOA agreement was, it did become calcified, and it led to Iran being able to exercise all the negatives that were very harmful to U.S. geostrategic interests in the region. Now, for it to settle back into a JCPOA2 that is effectively allowing Iran to do the exact same, what exactly were the 11 intervening years for? Look at a Venn diagram of, okay, what do both sides want? Obviously, there's an overlap here, so we see diplomatic efforts probably not coming to fruition here. We're set between two choices of another calcified JCPOA agreement, which, who knows, in another 11 years, maybe we see JCPOA 3 because all these things continue to be true, or implementing and using the military to see other beneficial outcomes, let's call it. I think we think the latter is probably more preferable here. Say that with all the heaviness and details in mind. Obviously, regime change, let's be straight, is incredibly difficult to pull off, obviously. It requires an immense amount of coordination and bringing to bear all sorts of different capabilities and powers that the U.S. military has at their disposal. Additionally, the leadership structure of the theocracy, the ayatollahs, the mullahs, is a lot different than a lot of different countries. So, you take out the ayatollah himself, he's one guy, but there are plenty of other leaders that would be able to step in and fill that power vacuum. So strategy and intelligence here is a quagmire and just kind of a dark force that I frankly don't know that we have a lot of answers or solutions. Filming this today, Netanyahu's going to the White House to talk probably just that, the intelligence that the Mossad or an Israeli intelligence has at their disposal to kind of make some of this clear. If that were the case, and it looks increasingly as developments go on through the week, that is probably going to be the case. Like and subscribe for more.